real nice. That's nice too. I used to vacation there often. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are one moment. We're gonna get notification live. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule to have a conversation with us this evening with the legendary Sister Tadarah Muhammad. Thank you, Sister Tadarah, for taking time out of your schedule. And first of all, let me give you the greetings. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, ma'am. Sister Tadarah, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by the Most Honorable Sis Farrakhan?
Oh, yes, sir. Say you, Brother Joshua. This is truly an honor,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I appreciate you, and I love what you're doing with your program,
Thank you, man.
sir. So, I heard the first time I heard the teachings was in October of 1989.
Mm.
Now, prior to that, like in September, August, September, MUI was opening up the school.
Mm, mm.
And Tanisha at the time was 5 years old.
Okay.
My father asked me if she can go to the school starting in kindergarten. So I decided to let her go. I didn't know anything about being a Muslim. I didn't know the culture or anything like that. So I decided to let her go. And then while she was there, she was learning the teachings.
Mm, mm.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she would come home and they taught her how to drill. She
Mm,
she was reciting the lessons and she was saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I said, what the
mm.
up there at this school?
Yes, ma'am.
So I had never heard the minister, I'd never been to the mosque or anything. So this particular time I was picking her up from school and Brother Shahid was at the door. And I said, well, I'm here to pick up Tanisha. He was like, you Tanisha's mother? I said, yes. And then he said, man, she a soldier. I said, a soldier? What do you? And he was like, she's a good driller. She catch on fast. I said, yeah, she be doing that stuff at home.
Mm, mm.
Long story short, she started riding the van. And at that time, it was a brother named Edward that was driving the student.
Okay.
I met him and he invited me out. He said, sister, have you ever been to the mosque? I said, no, I haven't been. And he said, well, I want you to be my guest. Come on out. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to. Why not? I said, because I'm not dressing like that. I'm not putting what?
Yeah.
Sister, you can come as you are. I said, really? See, back in the day, when you went to church, you had to wear skirts. You couldn't wear pants or jeans or anything like that. So I'm thinking it's similar to that. And he
Yes,
said, as you are, you can wear anything you want. I said, I can wear blue jeans. He was like, yes, ma'am. I said, I can wear a jogging suit.
mm, mm.
Yes, ma'am. I was like, okay. I said, I might do that. But I didn't go that Sunday. I actually went to the mosque in October, right after the minister did the announcement in DC, because
Okay.
I went, that's what he talked about. And the name of that lecture was The Making of the Devil. So that was the first time I heard the teachings,
Mm.
and I accepted that day.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. Now, when you back in so you say 1989, you're in the mosque. What was it like when you finally got a chance to get with the sisterhood, and who were those sisters that was like teaching you and like teaching you how to drill, karate, all that kind of stuff, 7 units, all that kind of stuff?
Now, I was working at the bank, and so I didn't go to the class right away because I worked on Saturdays. But I
Mm, mm.
was on Sundays, and they kept saying sisters class at Saturday at 9 o'clock. So one day I said, you know what, I got to get to this class. So I called off work and I went to the processing class, and they wouldn't let us in the gym. So I didn't know what was going on in there, but I wanted to know.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I went to the processing class, and I said, oh man, I got to come back. So I thought about it and thought about it, and I decided I quit my job.
Mm.
Job, I wanted to be there, and I think I went to 3 processing classes, and they gave me the materials that I needed to get registered. I wrote my letter 100 times.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
And I finally picked the one that I thought was the best one, and I turned it in, and it got accepted. And so I've been in ever since then.
Praise be to Allah. What was it like meeting the minister for the first time?
Wow. But can I go back because I didn't finish answering that
Yeah,
question?
oh, no, yes, ma'am, please.
So when I joined, the teachers, my teachers at that time, now I went from the processing class, and in my processing class, that's where we learned how to drill. Drill for the minister at our graduation. So their plan was to invite the minister to the processing graduation.
Yes, ma'am.
They wanted to display the processing graduates and with the drill routine. So that's where I learned how to drill. And it was Sister Ina, Rashida helped us, Sister Fatima, Sister Fabre. They were, and Sister Donna. It was Sister Donna. Sister Donna was Sister Donna Farrakhan. She was the DI. Taught us how to drill. And on the graduation day, we performed for the minister.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Excellent. Now, from there, how did you get into becoming the drill instructor, becoming a DI?
Well, I went from processing class straight into the Vanguard class. Our class was the first Vanguard class of Mosque Mariam, because that's, when I came, they had just got the mosque, and they had they had just got the mosque. So our class was the first Vanguard class of the mosque at that time. So it was Sister Donna was the national Vanguard directress. Sister Fabre was our teacher and trainer, her and Fatima. Aisha. They helped train us, but Sister Fabre, she actually taught us how to drill. She was at the time. She was the one that had the hands-on, and then Sister Donna would come in and come behind her, and she would teach us as well. So what Sister Donna would do, she would find out who she had in her ranks. She would call us out. And then she'd have us to call. That's how I started. She picked me one day, and I was like, I just went for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Natural to me. I don't know why, but that when I told you we couldn't go into the gym as when I recited and received my acts, I finally got a chance to go inside the gym. And when they let us in, it was a sister. Her name was Sandy, Brother Abdullah's daughter. Sandy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Drilling the sister. This is the first time I had ever seen that before. What she was doing. So I asked the sister that was standing next. I said, "What is that she doing?" And they said, "Well, she's they're drilling." I said, "No, what is she doing?" And I pointed to the and she said, "She's calling cadence." And the way that sister was calling the cadence, she was calling my spirit. I was like, wow, I want to do that. So, and then from that, going into the class and being taught how to do that. So it when it came time that we needed a DI, they didn't pick me. Another sister. And so at the time, Sister Monica was the captain. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let that slide. I'm going to
mm,
say
mm, 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 mm.
so. I went to her and I asked her, I told her, and she said, well, I didn't know. She said, okay, yeah, we can do that. So
Mm, mm.
I became the DI for Chicago Vanguard.
Okay, excellent. Yes, ma'am. And I want to just thank everyone for watching. Sister Abisayo says, sis, Brother Ivan, Brother Errol, always showing love. Brother Earl, always showing love. Brother Ivan says, shout out from brother from Tuscaloosa. Sister Halia says, that's my captain. And my sister Naima says, ASA, my favorite DI forever. Thank you, Naima. Yes, ma'am.
That's my mini me.
Yeah, and Sister Tadarah, what was it about? How did you come up with the moves and the creative pace at a time where everybody else wasn't? You just seemed like you were ahead of everybody. How are you coming up with the moves and the beats and all of that?
Well, to be Brother Josh, it was a collective team. It was a collective routine.
Mm, mm, mm.
Take ideas from other sisters on the team. If I liked it, I would use it. If I didn't, I didn't. So we kind of collaborated like that and just bounced off of each other's ideas. And we just we just went from there. I don't know. I explain it. It was just something that just happened. You know, I just thought of things that I thought that would be cool and sharp and original, different. And I wanted to come from that standpoint. I would actually watch the brothers drill too. I was
Mm, mm.
inspired by some of their moves and things like that. And I would just study my competitors. I would look at what they were doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, what my sister Miriam told me that you drilled when you were pregnant. What was that like?
Oh wow. Back then, we didn't enforce the law of pregnant sisters.
Yes, sir.
So I was able to get away with that, right? So it was like I wasn't even pregnant to be,
Mm,
but
mm,
it was overwhelming. It was just I just loved it. It was nice. And that picture that you have on the poster,
yes, ma'am.
that picture in the blue, we were in Ghana, and I was
Mm,
pregnant on that picture.
mm.
To Ghana, I found out I was pregnant. I said, I'm going. I'm still going.
praise me, praise me to Allah. Now, with the hold on, I want to make sure I read these comments. Sister Donna, hey, Sister Donna says Memphis is in the house. Sister oh, your son Elijah said she was pregnant with me. My brother Rashad says all aboard the mothership. Now speaking that routine, my siblings and I, we watch drill tapes like it's just what we do for fun. How did you handle putting together such a great routine and then sometimes you wouldn't win? How did you handle disappointment? How did you handle that?
Well, I had to be strong for the team
Mm-hmm.
because we all felt it, but I had to be strong. And I always felt like, we were the people's choice.
Mm, mm, mm,
They would say, y'all should have won.
mm, mm.
I love when you all did this, and I love when you did that. So that was gratification for me. And I would tell the team, it's all right because we the people's choice. And
Mm.
it doesn't matter. You know what? If we did the drill competition like the American Idol, it would be a whole lot.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Y'all, what do the judges see? I don't understand. But that's how I took it. I took it with a grain of salt, and I never let it get me down. I came right on back, and kept doing it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, wonderful. Now, I saw something that I never have seen before. And one year, me and my brother, we drilled, and I passed the microphone to him, and that became a trend with siblings passing the microphone, with drill. But to see you and your daughter call the cadence together, on the same drill team. I mean, that's phenomenal. How did that make you feel, and how did that come about?
Crazy due to a lot. I was very proud. You know, I didn't see Sadiqa coming. I
Mm,
always
mm.
thought Felicia would be the one.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, with Sadiqa, she has it natural, and she's very gifted in that field, and she can come up with. She learns quickly, and I was just proud. I was very proud, and she put together most of those steps. She came up with all the cadences. I'm
Mm, 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 mm.
gonna follow your lead, okay?
Okay, so excellent. Okay, Sister Donna says you're right. Maternity, what maternity leave? My sister Naima says, what a beautiful moment in history. And Naima says, yes, I see you, Naima. I know Naima's like she's all in the comments. Yes, Naima, I know. But Sister Donna, I have a question. What was it like? Because we didn't I didn't let you get to answer this one. What was it like the first time meeting the minister?
Oh yes. Well, it was it was funny because the first, I mean, I would see him all the time, but I was really trying to think about the first time that I really met him.
Mm, mm,
It was, he invited the Vanguard to dinner, and we were all sitting around the table, and he had everybody to go around and say their name and what they did and things like that. So when he got to me, I can't remember if I was married or if I wasn't at the time, but I don't remember. But when he got
mm,
to me, he was like, "Oh, I know her. I know
mm.
this." I was like, "Really?" No. So he just went. He didn't even ask me what I did. He didn't ask
Mm,
my
mm,
name or anything, but he just went straight on. I know who she is. He said, "Oh, I was married," because he said, "You ain't beating up your Pope brother, are you? You ain't giving him."
mm, mm, mm,
I was
mm.
like, "Oh, sir." So he went, when I met him, he went with me, he went there, and everybody laughed, and he just went on to the next person. So I think that was like my first experience with him like that. And yeah, I think
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I was very young, in Muhammad University of Islam in Chicago, I would go see you when you were on the property. And before Brother Tyler had his name was RD, and you would say, I would say, what is a RD? And you were like, it's like radiant and divine, and this, and that. And I would bust up laughing. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. What was it about Brother Tyler that made you choose on him, want to be with him?
well, it was his love for Islam.
Mm, mm,
Because whenever we were together out, no matter where we went, he would always talk about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he
yes,
would always be teaching somebody. It didn't matter. It could have been a child, a male, female, old, young, anybody. And I just admired that about him. And he would just, and the way he said it, he said, "I'm with the boldest, the blackest on the planet." And
yes,
then the people would say, "Well, who is that?" And he say, "Farrakhan." I was like,
mm,
"Whoa, yes, right." So
yes,
I just fell in love with the fact that he loved something that I loved.
mm, mm. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Now, when on the post that I posted on the flyer, you doing security for the minister. How did you get into doing security?
Well, I went through my Vanguard training. Sister Aisha taught us martial arts and
Mm,
boxing, and like I said, Fabre taught the drill. And I just really I excelled in the class. And it was 1990, and the minister wanted this Vanguard to secure him.
mm,
So Sister Aisha came and asked me if I would train the Vanguard for honor guard.
mm, mm,
I said, no,
mm, mm,
I
mm,
can't do that, because I didn't feel like I was qualified. And I told her that. She was like, "No, you are." She said, "I have
mm,
faith in you, you could do it." So she asked me and Sister Brenda at the time. So that was over the summer. It was for Savior's Day, October. So we trained for 3 months, 6 days a week. We had to be at the mosque at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Through Saturday. And we trained, and we started out with 70 sisters in a class. And by the end of the training, I think we had about maybe 30 sisters. And we were and they were only picking out of that maybe five. And it was 5 sisters in addition to those who the minister chose to secure him. And so at the end of the training, Sister Bessie Jean Farrakhan, the Sister Captain Emeritus, she came in and she wanted to see, what we had. And, we went through, me and Sister Brenda said, okay, y'all put y'all boxing gloves on. We went, and so Sister Bessie Jean was like, She called us over there. She said, take the gloves off. God. So we told the sisters, y'all got to take the gloves off. And so she made me and Sister Brenda fight each other. And then after we fought, she put like 2 sisters on each one of us. Sisters on each one of us. Then put 4 sisters on each one of us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
5 sisters on each. I was a fighting song.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm serious. And sisters was leaving out of there with black eyes, busted nose, busted lips. It was crazy. We were fighting. Do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
At the end, it came down to the sisters who were left. And, she was like, all praises due. She called Mustafa down there to see all of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Damn. Damn.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So we had to actually go through some stuff. It wasn't like, we really had to train, and we really had to show that we can fight and that we can defend ourselves in order to defend the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That wasn't no joke.
Praise be to Allah. Now, when you were on post, you still hold post now, but when you were young and we're back in 1990, were you ever afraid, and how did you overcome your fear?
I was never afraid.
Yes, ma'am.
I was ready to die. I'm still ready.
Praise be to Allah.
All praises due to Allah. From my training and building up my confidence in the craft that I was learning, and the teachings and the word of Master Father Muhammad.
Yes, ma'am.
All of that, my love, I was never afraid.
Okay, excellent. I see you all's comments, and I'm coming right back. Now, Sister Tadarah, what was the climate in Chicago leading up to the Million Man March? What was that like?
Oh man, we were doing everything. Like phenomenal. The minister was coming out a lot. We had the vanguard, the task force. The FOI, the mosque was just rocking, and it was a lot of action. It was just fun. We had fun.
Praise be to Allah. Now, when I was at MUI, I would see the vanguard. You all having graduations and having pins on your the numbers for all, like the training. I had different colors. What was it like going through a phase where y'all had exactly phases, like phase 1, all this language I didn't understand as a child, but what was that like as far as being in the sisterhood?
Oh my God, Joshua, that was shit. Like I said, it was fun. And I thank Allah for Sister Sharifa, your mom. She is so phenomenal. I love her to the moon and back, her and Sister Aisha. And Sister, when Sharifa came, when you all moved to Chicago, that's when actually the National Vanguard started. became assistant to Sister Aisha. And so she started the National Vanguard staff and training. And so I was one of the sisters, the first on her staff. And, I had the central region, and we would just reach out to the sisters, and we came up with the curriculum. And all of that. It was just great. We just had fun. I loved it. The retreats and all of that. And the training that I received from your mom and her mind, and, all of that. It was just great.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. I've seen you do security for Mother Farrakhan. Basically my whole life I've seen you do security for Mother Farrakhan. What could you share with us what it's like to protect her, and how is her energy and her spirit towards people, because she's very people don't hear her speak a lot. So how is it like with the personal relationship that you have with Mother Farrakhan?
Oh, it was a teaching and training moment. Every time I'm with her, she's teaching. I love to see the MGT in their garments, and she loved to see the Vanguard in their garments. And she was the one who she told me, I was there to pick up my garment one time. She said, "Now you take care of this garment." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "When you go," she said, "don't wash it. You put it in the cleaners to put sizing on it." I didn't even know what sizing was, but I went to the cleaners and said, "Put some sizing on it."
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No, it was like spray starch.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But and that's how I kept my garments up to this day. I still have them. I lent them out, but they came back around to me. So
Yes,
I
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
still have them. I thank Allah for that. But being with mom, I remember we were walking her through the airport when I'm on post, and you know how I look when I'm on post.
Yes, ma'am.
She said, "Tap her, tell her to come in." And she said, "Don't be looking at the people like that." She said, "Because we trying to make friends for my husband." I said, "Yes, ma'am." But I'm like, I got to do what I
Yes, ma'am. Same here. I understand. I understand. Yes, ma'am. Now I saw the Million Woman March. What was it like the spirit and the energy leading up to that, and what was your function during the Million Woman March?
Well, Josh, I didn't go to the Women's March because I was pregnant, I think. I was pregnant.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I didn't go there.
Okay, excellent. I want to talk about I just want to talk about you first personally, but then I want to talk about the other roles that you have. But the main role people want to know, what was it like being married to someone who was a member of the original E team and who was gone so long? And I want to take this time on behalf of myself and my family to thank, of course, you, your husband, but all of your children. We thank Allah for you all and your sacrifice. Thank Allah for you and your sacrifice. What was that like?
It was an honor. I have to say that I had to be deeply rooted in Allah because of the fact that my husband was not in the home the majority of the time.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
A lot of responsibility, fell on me, and I never complained.
Praise Allah.
Never complained. And I would always let my children know where their father was doing and the reason why he was doing it. So whenever he came home, they was running, they was crawling, and they was walking to the door to greet him.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am.
Get into my class, and I had to, get into my children. So we did the best that we could to raise them as Muslims.
Yes, ma'am.
What my desire was, and it was the desire of my husband's too, was for them to just be Muslims and to know who God is. Because, when we were growing up, we didn't know who God was.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know anything about Islam. So for me to learn who he is, I had to instill that into my children. So that teaching and training from my husband and I we are grateful and blessed to have all of my children registered and working in the nation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's beautiful. And I'm coming to all you all's comments, but I wanted to stay right here because when you see the sisters behind the scenes and their husbands, my mother, you all, and they're going off and the media saying, how do you want Farrakhan dead? This is this and that. And now your husband, you got children and you love him and he's walking out the door. What is your thought process behind it? Were you ever nervous for him?
I was always saying, baby, because I already knew how he felt. You know, go ahead and do what you got to do. And if he was at home too long, I'm like, don't you got to go to the fight? What is going on?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But no, it was never, like I said, it was never no fear. It was like, Allah got it. And he would always say, as long as I'm securing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Allah is going to secure my family. And that's exactly how it went. Before he left, he took care of his family. He made sure the bills were paid. He made sure we had food. He made sure I was straight and my children was, it was just, he was a man. He took care of his responsibilities. And I'm so grateful to Allah for him. And he still makes a sacrifice.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Okay. Allahu Akbar. I want to say welcome salam to Brother Daniel. Sister Mary, Sister Deneen, Loving God Glenn says, love my brother-in-law, Mary Griggs. They are a match made in heaven. I love these two. Sister Kia Muhammad, wow. Mimi, wow. Keith Maxwell, powerful. Brother Daniel, welcome salam, sir. Sister Mary Griggs, Muhammad don't make nothing weak. Kia Muhammad, soldier for real. Brother Kelvin Muhammad, Allahu Akbar. Sister Walaikum salam, thank you. Walaikum salam, thank you. Sister Halia, yes, Sister Tadarah, you took the MGT in Grand Rapids to another level because of your sacrifice. Praise be to Allah. Sister Donna, wow, this is indeed a blessing to have your children like that. Hold on, speaking of this podcast, my sister Miriam, this podcast is sponsored by my sister Mimi's book, ABC I Love Me. It's on Amazon. My brother Rashad and his business partner, Jamal, Street Premiere Video Productions. If you all need some editing or anything with video production, he has it. My second book, which is Cleopatra, is on Amazon. Thank you all for your support. If you have some businesses, just let me know. We'll promote it. What has been your greatest trial since you have been your sojourn in the nation, and how did you overcome it?
My greatest trial. Ooh, my greatest trial, brother. I'm gonna tell you, when I moved to Grand Rapids, and when we moved to Grand Rapids, and I became the MGT coordinator, that was a tremendous trial for me. And I didn't know really the dynamics of being the one in charge. I was always a lieutenant, so I took on instructions. I never was the one who had to think and had to do the planning and had
yes,
to
ma'am.
instructions. And then people receiving me,
Yes, ma'am.
That was a trial. And how I overcame that, it was prayer.
Praise the Lord.
And I had to really go back. It made me look back into my journey coming in and the captains that I had to go back and apologize. Tell me, I was a hot mess.
Yes,
sir. But,
okay. And I see you all's comment. Thank you, Brother Abdul Qadir, ASA Beloved. Why keep doing this? Okay, absolutely. What has been your greatest joy since you've been in the nation?
My greatest joy has been my children. Become adults and Muslims, and to see my grandchildren and to say Assalamu alaikum to me. And it was like when my son Tata was born and he was given the name of Tata Muhammad and the minister, that was the beginning of an ending, meaning of a holy name and the ending of a slave name.
Yes, ma'am.
Family would never have that name, a slave name again.
Yes, ma'am.
that was the greatest blessing for me.
Okay, excellent. What has been the difference between you being a mother and a grandmother?
Oh wow! You know what? Oh man, a grandmother is just great because you ain't okay. That's it. That's it. They just love their grandaboo. They love me.
Yes, beautiful. What advice would you give to future mothers?
Well, just make Allah first in your life, and to always be a Muslim. You know, instill Islam into your children, and just be a believer. You know, practice your Islam. Stay devoted, stay committed. It's going to be a trial. Sometimes you want to give up, but never give up, never give in. Just keep your eyes on the prize and the goal, and that's our salvation.
Praise be to Allah. What advice would you give to future mothers? I mean, future wives. Sorry about that.
The same advice,
Mm, mm.
the same thing. I mean, you know, if you married to a good FOI, all praises due to Allah.
Yes, ma'am.
You do your half and he do his part. And you know, you should last long. My husband and I have been married 27 years. Did
Praise
we
be to
have
Allah.
our ups and downs? Yes, we did. But we both persevere. And to this day, we can still, you know, still stand on that. Marriage is a beautiful thing. And it's a sacrifice. You have to be dedicated to that person, and at the same time you have to know who you are too. A lot,
Mm,
especially women, we give up a lot of ourselves because we're focused on our children and the husband and taking care of the home. And a lot of times we can get lost and caught up in that. And we really, and we look up and we really don't know who we are. So we need
mm.
to love yourself, know yourself, embrace yourself, and never lose yourself in somebody else.
Praise be to Allah. What advice would you give to the sisters? Like, okay, so in Atlanta, drill is like the culture down here. You know, all the brothers, sisters, that's what we do is drill. And there's a young sister by the name of Sister Joy, who is like, I think she's like 15 now, but she's about to go into the Vanguard. But she's the DI for the Junior Vanguard. What advice would you give to people like her who going into the Vanguard, who want to just drill and they're learning, and how can they carry on the legacy that you know, just the heights that you took it? What advice would you give to them?
Man, shoot, Julie Vanguard made a bomb on. You know, if that's your passion, then take it to the next level. Take it to the greatest height that you can go. You
Mm,
know, always be a team player. Don't just hog the team. If your team has ideas and it's good and you like it, use it.
yes,
But
ma'am.
you know, because a lot of times it's good to have help, and that's how you become a great team.
Mm.
Just be a team player, and sisters will love you for that.
Praise be to Allah. Now, I've seen you post so many cakes that make me hungry just by what you post on social media. How did you get into cooking, and you know, how can people order your cakes, or can we order the cakes, or can you explain to us your love for cooking and how can we order your cakes?
Well, uh, I grew to love cooking when I joined the Nation of Islam.
Mm,
Before that, I wasn't really thinking about cooking because, you know, I was in corporate America. I wanted to work and be a businesswoman and all that. I wasn't trying to cook.
mm,
But when I joined the Nation of Islam, I learned that that is something that I should do, I'm supposed to do. And so that's where my love grew for it, from it,
mm.
for it. And then as time went on, back then, you know, being a chef and going to culinary school was popular. So I decided to go and I went. And from there, I started baking cakes from scratch. And when I did my first cake, you know, everybody liked it and said, you know, you should sell it. So I started selling it from that. That was like in 2006 when I started that. And I realized that I really like baking more than I do like cooking.
Okay,
So
okay.
catered towards the baking. And I got away from it for a minute, and then so I just started it back up. But I am where I did write a cookbook.
Praise be to Allah.
It's about my different flavor pound cakes, the pictures that you all have been seeing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to, I put those into a recipe book. It's going through the copyrights and the publishing right now. So I'm looking forward to all of that to launch it October 1st.
Okay, beautiful.
It's going to be 3 series. I'm not going to say what the name is. It's very creative, and it's 3 books. So I'm looking forward to that. And if anybody want a cake, you know, they can hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Master Chef D. Marie.
Okay, excellent. Well, I have, and thank you all for your comments as well. And once again, before I ask my last question, I just want to say that your children are my siblings. I mean, we just love your family. We love your family. We love your parents. I mean, everybody from being in the salon with you all. So I can't stress to you all enough that I thank you for your sacrifice, because you're so multifaceted. But as a drill instructor, as a DI, and as somebody who came up drilling since I was young, we just have to what do you want to do as far as how can drill go to the next level? As because man, me and my sisters, we watch our drill tape and we watch the drill tape, we like, how can every level, how can you keep going? Like, will there ever be a time, can drill keep getting better and better? Is that possible?
Yes. Okay. You know, we are creative. You know, we're gods. So just by watching someone else and how they did it, then you can take it and just build off of that, basically. And that is what, you know, I see. Just like when Sister LaShonda came out in '98 with the salute, that different salute, she took drill to a level.
Yes, ma'am.
I got to take my Vanguard hat off.
Yes, ma'am.
First place, I took second. It's all good. So drill from that went to another level. Then we go back to, I think it was 2010 or 2011 when we started drill back up.
Yes, ma'am. And
then the Houston Junior Vanguard came out.
Yes, ma'am.
They took it to a whole new different.
Yes, ma'am.
Because back in the day, in the 90s, the Vanguard category was the best category.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's the Junior Vanguard category that's the best category, yes, because of the standard that they set. And then now from that year, then I'm seeing now the Vanguard is coming up when LA came in and they did the double beat thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you see stuff like that. So it's like, what can you do after that? Somebody gonna come up with something. Yes, and when Atlanta, Junior Vanguard Atlanta, when they drilled on the one leg.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Who knew, right?
Yes,
so it's like the creative minds is flowing. So something is going to come up out of that. The era that's now, something great is going to come up out of that too. See, the way we drill now, we didn't drill like that in the 90s. I mean, the beats is faster, you know, it's more creativity in it as far as, I mean, with you added like the rap
yes, ma'am.
Drill and taking a rap beat and putting it into a cadence.
Yes, ma'am.
First person that I've seen, you know, do that. So, you know, it's things like that. People will watch the generation coming up behind the millennials when they coming up and see stuff. Somebody's going to come up with something. It's always evolving.
Praise be to Allah. But what do you want your legacy to be, Sister Tadarah?
Oh my goodness. You know, I don't know. You know, whatever. I guess it's better when you tell your story instead of someone else telling your story. So you know, humbly speaking, I would say, well, whatever y'all say about me, you know, if you know me, then you would say something. But I just thank Allah for this opportunity for giving me the platform to tell her story. And
Praise,
what the people heard today from my mouth is my truth. And
praise.
what I want my legacy to be. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a DI,
Yes, ma'am.
I am a teacher. Your mom used to tell me all the time, "Oh, you a teacher." That had to grow on me, but it comes to me natural. That was a gift that God gave me that I didn't even know I had, but she pointed it out to me. And it didn't really flourish until I went to Grand Rapids. And I was able to utilize that gift and give to the sisters in Grand Rapids, and shout out to them. I love them too.
Hey. Yes, ma'am.
And it was just great. So that's what I'm saying today. That's what I would want people to say about it.
Okay, excellent. I want everyone who's watching on Facebook Live to know that this will be on YouTube this evening. Everyone, I have a whole YouTube audience that's different from a Facebook audience. When I put it on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. And when y'all see Sis Tadarah walking, make sure we all tilt our hat and salute, because, man, you put it down in so many areas, but from a driller to a driller, man, I don't think we're ever going to the 90. That's what I'm saying. The 97 routine is just going to be hard for us to. I mean, you had so many routines, but me and Naeem would be like, hey, put 97 on, y'all. Come on. All aboard the mothership and half a mile by half the science. And I mean, come on, like, what we talking about? What we talking about?
That was very creative. And we had Sister Hakima on the drill squad, and she had a lot to do with that routine with her. And she the one that came up with we coming like the brothers in a million.
Man March. Okay.
Devil run, get your gun. And I was
Yeah.
gonna say that. She was like, yeah, we should say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great. That was my best routine.
Excellent. Now I have a question. Will there ever be a time that you say you don't want to drill no more? That you don't have the passion for it no more?
I don't think so. I would do it. Hey, I could do this in my sleep.
Yes, ma'am.
No, there would never be a time. Look at me now. I'm still doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's like people won't let me quit. They was like, no, Tadarah, what? Ma'am, will you be here? I'll be like, yes, ma'am. I cannot turn it down. I was always taught you going down your post. It ain't over past the close.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And Sister Deneen, loving God, Glenn says, thanks, brother, for having my sister on your show. She truly works off for everything that she does. And thank you, sister. And thank I haven't seen Robert since MUI, but thank Robert and his sister as well, because we all grew up together.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all again, and thank you all for watching. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Tadarah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.